The Severance episode from last week was all Harmony Corbell, Patricia Arquette. Her return to Salt's Neck provided valuable insight into Corbell's past, as well as her unexpectedly important connection to Lumen and the severance process. Due to her upbringing in the Wintertide program, it turns out that she invented critical severance technologies, if not the entire process. As a result, they were effectively child labor that she did not benefit from or patent. Even though she wasn't a Negan, she was nurtured by Lumen through the program and kept away while her mother passed away. So it's clear why her removal from the crucial macrodata refinement floor stung so much. This episode opens with Helena Egan, Britt Lower, who has been swimming for a while, entering a vast chamber while wearing full business attire and heading along a corridor. In this ultra-modernist setting, she finds her father, Lumen CEO James Egan, played by Michael Cybery, waiting for her. His words, "A momentous day." He says he'll watch when she asks if he wants to eat. She carefully dissects a hard-boiled egg with a knife and fork after slicing it into 6 halves. "We're seeing to Mr. Bailiff," she says menacingly. "I wish you'd take them raw," James says simply, glancing at the eggs before getting to his feet. Following Helena's displeased expression, the camera pans out to show the enormous Lumen water tower towering above the nearby trees, as she is driven along a lengthy road and away from the boxy, remote facility. In a meeting with Miss Huang, Sarah Bock, Seth Milchick, Tremel Tillman, displays an Egan bust that resembles the one of Kia that Corbell found in Episode 8. Eustace Huang, the recipient of the Wintertide Fellowship for the Year of Vision, is receiving this one, and Milchick notes that the fellowship is coming to an end today. Milchick keeps explaining that your bed will be moved from your parents' home to the Gunnar Egan Empathy Center in Svalbard, where you will work to steward global reforms. Miss Huang sulkily responds, "I thought I'd be finishing the quarter," he smugly tells her. "Empathy awaits, Miss Huang," and then tells her that she can complete the responsibilities for the day before departing at sunset. In reference to her Lumen handheld ring toss game, she said, "But first, lay the game on the table." He reminds her that a material sacrifice from Wintertide grads is mentioned in the corporate manual, and he has selected her game as a suitable totem. Milchick orders her to trash it when she places it on the table. As Milchick watches, obviously still sour from his performance review, Miss Huang takes up the Egan bust and repeatedly smashes it at his request. As they prepare for their separate careers, the scene shifts to Darlan's Audi, Zach Cherry, and his wife Gretchen, Merritt Weaver, at home. Dylan gives her a perplexed look when she abruptly tells him the truth about kissing his innie while wearing a remorseful expression. Gretchen continues, "I saw your innie again at Lumen, and right before I left, we ended up kissing for about a minute," to which Dylan ostentatiously questions how such a thing could possibly occur. "You've been adrift, you know that," she answers. "He reminds me of how you used to be." "I'm going to go to work and earn a paycheck to feed our children," Dylan responds angrily. Notably, Dylan's innie is the one who receives the aforementioned salary. At most, Dylan serves as his innie's driver. "I'm gonna respectfully request that you don't follow me there and use my own body to *king cheap on me," he adds shortly before leaving. "Since I would have no way of knowing if that's happening or not, maybe I go in, and I quit, and I just end his existence." Gretchen looks distraught as Dylan storms out. When Irving, played by John Turturro, walks into his apartment, he discovers his dog Radar looking strangely at something in a nearby room. Sitting in Irving's house, Bert, Christopher Walken, reads his notes on Lumen, starting with the theory that Lumen is linked to several recent disappearances or deaths. As he reads on, Irving offers the hypothesis that Goodman may have participated as a low-level Lumen enforcer or goon. Bert chuckles. "That stings, Lumen goon. Words like that were never used by us." Lumen uses a fairly specialized language. When Irving clarifies that his conjecture is grounded in the past and that he is more knowledgeable today, Bert menacingly asks Irving if he would want to go for a vehicle ride with him. Back at Lumen, now with a Lumen band-aid attached to his head, Dr. Mauer, Robbie Benson, continues to watch Gemma and calls up Drummond, Olafur Darry Olafsson, to protest that the Cold Harbor file, which is stalled at 96%, isn't moving. When Drummond summons Milchick, he surmises that Mark S. is probably simply being late. Today, the last quota was promised. "Get him here right away," Drummond says. Hallie R, meantime, is thrilled to see that the MDR office space is unoccupied when he gets to work. Cut to Mark, Adam Scott, being driven across a wintry road by Devon, Jen Tulloch. He believes that Devon's strategy to form an alliance with Coble is a mistake, but she says she doesn't fully get him because of the wind whistling over the hole in the back of his skull. However, when Mark asserts that they told Coble everything, and she told us **, Devon ostentatiously concurs before pulling into their assigned parking space. Given that Coble is nowhere to be found, Mark questions whether it's a trap. Devon responds that they need her nevertheless, but they are cut off when Milchick calls. Mark does not respond. Hallie storms into Milchick's office and demands to know where Mark is, so to speak. He's not here for the second day in a row. Will he enter? Hallie mentions his past nosebleeds and asks if he's alright, while Milchick points to Lumen's non-disclosure policy on their staff. Hallie responds that he is MDR's department chief when Milchick asks her why she is so worried, but Milchick dismisses that argument since Dylan is in Mark's absence. She responds, "Kinda like you and Coble, replace one part with another." "That's enough, Hallie I," he chastises her, but Hallie puts on her most commanding expression and approaches Milchick's desk, cocking her head to the side. "Don't you mean Hallie E?" He understands that Helena Egan is my employer, yet you are my subordinate, and this behavior constitutes insubordination. Milchick insists that she leave his door open, but she responds plainly, "Yeah, no **, and shuts it as she leaves. Gretchen acknowledges that she told Dylan G about their kiss during another visit to the Inney family visitation suite. When Dylan naively inquires as to whether his ex-boyfriend was pleased for them, Gretchen responds, "Of course not." "Well, he should be," Dylan G responds, "because I'm making you happy, and he's not." Regretfully, Gretchen then informs Dylan G that she is no longer able to see him. "Maybe if I tell him that this is over," she says, "he won't quit," adding that his Audi has already threatened to do so. "Gretchen, my life started when you came here," Dylan begs as he follows her out the door. He pulls out a paper ring he fashioned at work and anxiously gets down on one knee to propose to her before she can leave. "I love you unconditionally, even though I know I'm just an innie. Yes, I did make this for you." She seems completely heartbroken as she sobs, apologizes, and leaves him on his knees, yelling after her. Back on the MDR floor, Hallie gives the term work spouse a new meaning as he advises Dylan to preserve the ring for a coworker. Gretchen is Dylan's Audi's wife, she adds, because no one would treat someone they love the way she's treating you, like all the Audis treat us. Hallie then tells Dylan that Irving was his family, telling him that, "I don't know if he knew where it leads, but he thought it was important, and they convinced you to turn your back on him for some Audi woman you don't even know." He also leaves Dylan a note about that black hallway prior to his termination. Dylan asks Hallie, "You know it's your fault we're down here at all, right?" in reverse. He probes further, asking why, given the stark differences between innies and Audis, no one could have guessed Helena was posing as Hallie. "Irving could," she comes back. He responds, "Mark couldn't," and then icily leaves. A wave of apparent departures from Dylan G and Irving also hits us, though Dylan might soon realize that his successful gamble to force his innie out was a futile one. However, a large portion of this episode sets up future problems. We don't know what will happen when Mark completely reintegrates, if these deviations will last, or what these acts of resistance will accomplish. Can Mark and Devon have faith in Coble? What are the Egans going to do? Why would Gemma die from the tests, whatever they are, or why would Lumen decide to end her life once they are finished? Above all, how does John Turturro's skill make every scene more poignant, even when he's dead?